12/10/2024, wrapping up chapter 18 out of the book of Proverbs. In this episode of Stand Tall, we're on verse 13, starting out with a verse that I really like, very insightful. It says, "He who answers before he hears, his is the folly and the shame." This reminds me of, it was like kindergarten or first or second grade. We were given this sheet of paper and we were like, follow the instructions, right? And then, do what it says, but make sure to read all the instructions first. And I'm sure everyone's had some form of test like this given. It's like, read the instructions all the way to the end, write your name at the top, and then, say the Pledge of Allegiance and blah, blah, blah. But like the last one is don't do anything mentioned in the aforementioned instructions. And so nobody does it because, well, everyone kind of messes up except for a few people who actually read it to the very end. He who answers before he hears. So a man's spirit sustains him in infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear? So during sickness, it's your spirit that's going to bring you through, whether it's mental or physical sickness. But if your spirit has been broken, it's going to be a lot tougher. So always keep your spirits high and always hold out hope for the day. The mind of the intelligent gains knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. So let's keep that one in mind, especially that as we are seeking intelligence and knowledge, know that we are intelligent and wise for seeking this knowledge, and that we're here to hear what the wise and the wise ear seeks. The wise mind is seeking this knowledge. A man's gift clears the way for him and gains him access to great men. So instead of focusing on what your weaknesses are and how to make them better, focus on what your strengths are. And focusing on that is your gift. That's the gift that's been given to you that's going to bring you into the circle of great people. The man who pleads his case first seems to be in the right. Then his opponent comes and puts him to the test. There's always two sides to every story. And just make sure that you hear both sides, because you don't want to falsely assume based on someone's side of the story, the whole story, instead of knowing what both sides have to say about the situation. The lot puts an end to disputes and is decisive in a controversy between the mighty. A brother is a better defense than a strong city, and a friend is like the bars of a castle. So just like I hope to be there for my brother, I know that my brother has been the best defense to me, similar to a strong city, right? He has my back in good times and bad, no matter what. And a friend is like the bars of a castle. The bars of a castle are strong to keep things out, to keep things in. And maybe that could be a little bit of a double entendre, but let's not look too deep into it. A friend is like the bars of a castle. A good friend is going to protect you from the things trying to get in. From the fruit of his mouth, a man has his fill. With the yield of his lips, he sates himself. So the fruit of his mouth, a man has his fill, and from his lips he sates himself. This to me is very much like As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Kind of like what you think, what you say, those things come to bear and come to fruition. And that's why we need to be careful what we say and what we speak, because the things that we say and speak are the fruit that we bear and are what's going to fill up our life. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those who make it a friend shall eat its fruit. So knowing that, based on what we just read, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And hopefully this means that, the Lord in all of his power will forgive us, in the sense of death and life being in the power of the tongue. That's a powerful thing to say. So hopefully that's not the case. Or if it is, that we are forgiven, because it is right here, listed right here. He who finds a wife finds happiness. This has been true for me. It is a favor he receives from the Lord. So the Lord gives you the wife. And I mean, not like that, not like no one has free will, right? Your wife is not an NPC. Your wife is a person as well, but it is a blessing from the Lord, because he has given you, the gift, right, to clear the way and giving you access to great people, right, being your spouse. The poor man implores, but the rich man answers harshly. And so the poor man begs, right, he implores for money, but the rich man answers harshly. meaning like maybe even in his own mind, he's harsh and disciplined to himself. And that's why that is written down. And it wraps up with a great verse. Some friends bring ruin on us, but a true friend is more loyal than a brother. So through the good times and the bad, who's been there for you, right? A good friend is going to be more loyal to you than a brother. And yes, some friends are going to bring ruin on us, but I think that's important to remember as we move into the week. Not necessarily that we've got to go and cull our friends list on Facebook or anything like that, but that we should be aware of who are we calling friend, what are we sharing with them, what are we saying to them, and do they truly have our best intentions at heart.